Hi, my name is Richelle Cohen Mossler. I'm the General Counsel for the Indiana Association of REALTORS. I'd like to talk to you about the 2013 IAR Residential Forms Changes. There were 4 forms that had changes: the purchase agreement, the listing contract, the first right contingency form, and the backup offer form. The first form I'll talk about is the purchase agreement. This is the most important change in the closing paragraph of the purchase agreement that has language added to it. That language is as follows. Any closing date earlier than the latest date above must be by mutual written agreement of the parties. The rationale for this change was to clarify that neither party can enforce the or before language without mutual agreement. Continuing on in the closing paragraph of the purchase agreement, the words "scheduled to close by" were added. The rationale for this change was to provide additional information to the seller about buyer's accepted offer on buyer's property. This does not create any additional deadline. The closing date of the subject property is still in effect. In the possession paragraph of the purchase agreement, the language "with prompt return of earnest money to buyer" was added after A, terminate this agreement. The rationale for this change was to provide for automatic disposition of earnest money by the broker in a casualty loss situation where damage is not repaired and buyer opts to terminate the agreement. Next, in the survey paragraph of the purchase agreement, the language above was bolded to help make the choices stand out. The inspection paragraph of the purchase agreement had the following sentence added: seller must make all areas of the property available and accessible for buyer's inspection. The rationale for this change was to emphasize to the seller that the buyer must be able to access all areas of the property for inspection. Some important changes were made to the limited home warranty program paragraph in the purchase agreement. Not to exceed language was added to eliminate the need to know the cost of the warranty. Ordered by language was added so the parties know who will order the warranty. Hold harmless and release language was added to protect the broker from liability in situations where the home warranty provider refuses to pay for a claim. Similar release and hold harmless language was added to the additional provisions paragraph in the purchase agreement. This was added to protect the broker from liability in situations where any service provider refuses to pay for a claim. The next form I'd like to talk about is the listing contract. The revision to the listing contract is as follows. The word cooperating was placed before the word brokers as a clarification to which broker is being discussed. The third form that had revisions was the first right contingency form. The changes to that form are as follows. The word written was added before notification to clarify that written notice is required. The last form that has revisions is the backup offer form. Those revisions include the following. The following phrase was added: or buyer withdraws this backup offer, to clarify that if the buyer withdraws a backup offer, the earnest money will be returned to the buyer. The only brand new form added for 2013 is the listing contract for unimproved property. That form and the revisions to all the forms I've talked about today will be available after January 1st, 2013. People ask why we make changes to the forms each year. The reason for these changes are for consistency, clarification, or to reduce your risk. There also may be changes due to state or federal law changes, as well as Code of Ethics changes. Any questions that you have on these revisions or the new legal form can be directed to the IAR Legal Hotline. Remember, this hotline is available to principal and managing brokers only or designated agents statewide. The hotline is available Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Special thanks must be given to the IAR Forms Committee. This committee spends countless hours every year providing updates to these forms.